Jail records show charges are now filed in the Brooklyn Park homicide case in which a woman was fatally shot. The shooting happened in broad daylight Wednesday afternoon in the parking lot of a shopping center in the 5800 block of Brookdale Drive. Jail records show 31-year-old James Hill of Minneapolis is charged with murder. Two others, both of Minneapolis, are also in custody, accused of helping the suspect avoid arrest. The victim, a 42-year-old woman, was taken to an area hospital where she was pronounced dead. Her name has not yet been released. Brooklyn Park Police met with community members to find out how they can ensure safety in that area. Reporter Pafua Yang explains some of the steps.
Shocked and frightened, business owners can't get Wednesday's horrific incident out of their head.
Scary. I couldn't even stay. I have to go home right after that.
Sissy owns M&T Beauty Supply. She saw the victim lying on the parking lot fighting for her life. Just a couple stores over at the restaurant Mama T's.
They were shaken up, scared, but, I told them that, to lock the main door there.
Cops met with business owners the following day.
They want us actually walking up and down the mall, which we can do. It's a short-term strategy, not a long-term solution.
Law enforcement will also install a trailer camera that goes up 40 feet to map the entire area.
To make the connection.
Brooklyn Park Police also encouraging business owners to try its free premise survey.
What they do is they'll come out and they'll just take a look at the facility itself, take a look at the locks on the doors, take a look at the lighting outside, see if there's any places to potentially hide when it gets dark, that kind of thing.
The community members still unsettled about repeated loiterers.
It's, this area gets a lot of activity, but the shooting is unusual.
Authorities say it's going to take a community and police partnership to see improvement in the area. In Brooklyn Park, Pafua Yang, CCX News.
Osseo police need your help identifying the people in these pictures. Police say Thursday around 7:30 p.m. some men walked into the holiday store off Central Avenue and stole cartons of cigarettes. A store clerk tried to stop them and was assaulted. The clerk has minor injuries. If you have any information, give police a call. Sometimes two heads can think better than just one. That's the idea behind an event that Brooklyn Park leaders are attending this week. The mayor and city staff are learning more about what small steps other cities are taking to curb violence in high-risk groups. They are in Hampton, Virginia, where they will exchange information with cities from all over the United States.
Brooklyn Park, sometimes you feel like we're the only ones who have this problem, and we don't always know what we should do. And when you come to these convenings, you kind of get reinvigorated with the idea that there are many communities fighting the same fight.
Representatives from Brooklyn Center and Minneapolis are also at the Cities United event too. A Maple Grove native who grew up dancing at a studio in Osseo has now added a new title to his resume, film producer. As Delane Cleveland reports, a movie that's making its Twin Cities debut this weekend has a number of Minnesota ties.
Within the walls of the Escalade Dance Studio in Osseo,
I grew up in Maple Grove, and I grew up dancing at Escalade.
Is where Andrew Tamarkin developed his love of the arts.
This place is really a safe space. It's a place where kids can come from their days and really just focus on themselves and on art and on expressing themselves in an active way.
The Maple Grove native now expresses himself in ways beyond dance. He recently wrote and produced a film called The Promise of the Butterfly. The movie debuted at the Vail Film Festival earlier this month, and it's making its Twin Cities debut in Hopkins this weekend. Several Escalade alumni played big roles.
I think it would have been impossible not to involve the studio.
Tamarkin is now based in Chicago, and that's where he met Meredith Kirkman.
We're both kind of surprised we're like in this industry. It kind of happened very organically.
She directed this coming-of-age story about a young artist who discovers his path in life with the help of a mute dancer.
I went to school for musical theater with a dance emphasis, but I've always kind of had this knack for directing.
Production on the film took place over a 6-week span in the spring of 2018 on a budget of about $20,000.
We really utilized connections we have. Your ticket in was passion.
They couldn't compensate everyone involved, so many did it just for the experience.
Most people were under the age of 35 involved in this, which is also a cool fun fact.
For Tamarkin, the movie is one big step in a journey that started in Maple Grove and Osseo.
It's a coming-of-age story for everybody, and we want people to leave and think about what really makes them happy, what experiences they enjoy, and to really just go for it.
In Osseo, Delaney Cleveland, CCX News.
The Hopkins Center for the Arts will host a screening for the film on Saturday, August 24th. And of course, you can find out more information about that on our website, ccxmedia.org. Summer may be winding down, but a local sand volleyball league is heating up. We leave you now with a look at the action that's taking place every weekend at the New Hope Bowl.
The State Fair started Thursday, and so did the high school volleyball season. The two high schools in the Robbinsdale School District went head-to-head in New Hope. Former Osseo star Tiara Russell now coaching Cooper. Mike Vogel, one of the new co-coaches for Armstrong. It's underdog Cooper starting strong. Faith King's hit is off the block, and the Hawks grab a 13-9 lead in the opening set. Riley Fry's serving gives Cooper trouble. This ace puts the Falcons in front 18-16 after they have an error-prone start. And Kaya Durant hammers it home for a kill on set point as the Falcons overcome a shaky start to win the first set 25-22. Cooper again starts off well in the second. Maggie Cole gets the cross-court hit in for a kill to tie it at 6. But Armstrong takes control. The overpass by Cooper leads to an easy point for Libby Matala. It's part of a 9-0 run on the way to a 25-15 win for the Falcons. And they dominate the third set. Sophia Deschler tips over the block as Armstrong cruises to a 25-8 win in the third set to get the sweep over Cooper. Thursday was opening night for several local soccer teams as well. The Wayzata boys have to replace some scoring punch from a team that reached the state tournament a year ago. The Trojans opened at home against Mounds View. Wayzata's up 1-0 when Evan McGugan taps it over to Ryan Almer, and his shot is in. The Trojans go up 2-0 early in the second half. Charles Casimir gets the steal for Wayzata, but the Mustangs goalkeeper gets back in to smother it. Wayzata wins 2-0. The Trojans girls team beat Farmington. The Hopkins girls soccer team won its first 3 games last fall, then won only 2 more the rest of the way. The Royals hope to start the season on a winning note against St. Louis Park. This one at St. Louis Park, here's a turf goal. Alma beaten on the long free kick, and it bounces over the keeper's head and in. St. Louis Park grabs a 1-0 lead 11 minutes into the contest. Hopkins answers as Charlotte Lee passes to Elise Wright, and her chip shot proves tough to handle. It drops in over the keeper to tie the game at 1. And we go to overtime in this one in the second OT. Josie Fieldman with the pass, and Amelia Carrizales buries it for Hopkins with 2:26 left in the second overtime. But St. Louis Park isn't done. Beaton's free kick is deflected by a Hopkins defender, and it bounces in. Beaton gets credit for the goal. This one ends in a 2-2 tie. In football, Osseo endured a tough season in 2018. The Orioles hope to rebound this fall. Here's today's training camp report. There's no way to sugarcoat it. Osseo did not have a good 2018 season. The Orioles were winless, but with a lot of returning players, they can see improvement already.
I mean, definitely with the experience, there'll be less guys that are nervous to get in there. They'll be used to the speed and how the game goes. So, I mean, that's definitely really good moving forward during the season.
The offense is great. We got, coming into this week, we had a great week, like phenomenal week. Our energy was up. We were communicating all over the place. So, just still can get a little better, but we're getting there. So
practices have stacked up really really well, a lot of positive momentum. Our football IQ is becoming a lot better, so our guys are asking great questions and really being coached up well. So we're very happy with the energy and the effort level in practice so far, and we have a long way to go, but where we're building seems to be pretty good for right now.
Jake Kruder returns as starting quarterback. Running back Khalid Brooks, receiver Jake Hill, and guard Jagger Shack are other offensive standouts, along with two-way linemen Mike McIntyre and Trey Williams. On defense, leading tackler Stephen Arell is now playing safety. He's a leader along with linebacker Miles Hawthorne. The Orioles know there's only one way to go from last season, up.
Now I just kind of look on that last year as kind of just fuel for this year, you know. Oh, well, we went 0-9 last year, but it just kind of fuels my grind and how much we're going to work forward and do better than we did last year.
Violet. Ryan Stockouts begins his 4th season with the Orioles. They do have 8 starters back on each side of the ball. Osseo opens at home next Thursday against Cretin-Durham Hall.